Hi, this is Lissy. Welcome back to Your Most Amazing Life. So this is a follow-on from the last video on perspective. So as I said earlier in the last video, perspective is so fundamental to how we live our everyday life and how we experience life as well. So we chatted briefly about that, and as I said, it's a tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of information on this. So I asked you as well in the last video to write down a couple of perspectives that you've changed and what it took for you to change them. So then also the next step on from that was to have a think about what your general outlook was on life and what your point of view, general point of view or general perspective was on situations that occurred every day, big situations, life circumstances, events. So what was it? What was your message from those situations? Do you need to change them as well? And what did you discover? And were there any surprises? So if you discovered something that you want to change, congratulations, and I'd be really proud of yourself as well, because it can take a lot of courage to look at yourself this way. And it's the first step. So congratulations. So you've got all this information on perspective, you want to change it. How do you go about doing that? So what I do for myself, if they're smaller situations, I might ask myself a few questions through the day. And there's a lot of questions that you can ask yourself, and this is just a couple to give you an idea or a starting point. So I might say, well, how can I make this fun? If I find something that's going to be a drag and I just can't motivate myself to do it, how can I make this fun? So cleaning or vacuuming, sometimes I just think, I just, really can't be bothered today, but I need to do it. Well, it's going to give me a workout, or, how can you change it and how can I make this fun? I might put some music on and dance around while I'm doing it. So, there's things that you can do to really motivate yourself. I might also ask, what's missing that if I include it will make this situation flow? So another question I ask myself quite regularly is, what else might I need to do to obtain happiness or fulfillment in this situation? So what can I do to get that happiness and fulfillment? So another perspective, or another way that I change my perspective, is to turn it completely around. So just say something huge happens in your life. You might lose your job, or your co-worker might steal all your work, or your partner inappropriately leads someone else on. So something like that. What I do in those type of situations is completely turn the situation around. So I might be blaming that other person 100%. It wasn't my fault that I lost my job at all. It was their fault completely, or this group's fault, for example. So I would challenge myself to turn that around 100%. So I would tell the story as though I was 100% responsible, and how on some level that I may have caused or attracted everything to occur in this situation. So that can be pretty confronting as well. And you might have a situation in your life now, or you can think of a past situation where this is a really good exercise for you to try. And you might turn that around so it's 100% you're to blame. It might be pretty uncomfortable, and you might need to revisit it in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. So just see how you feel. But I want you to think about what the difference is between both extreme points of view. So feel what you're feeling between both extreme perspectives. So I did this exercise just recently. So if I had kept my it's not my fault point of view, I could have changed my world completely. Absolutely, completely. And I would have learned nothing from the situation. I would have learned nothing about myself or anybody else. So there would have been nothing wrong with my situation completely changing, because that would have been my point of view and I would have made it work at the time. But as I said, what was I going to learn from myself? So when I turned this around, I just discovered and found so many opportunities that came out of it for myself, for the other people involved as well. And it's turned out to be a really positive situation. So out of something that was really negative, it's turned out to be something really positive with me changing that around. So what can you learn about yourself? So just to recap on a couple of disempowering perspectives that can leave you feeling down or depressed, limited, confused or stuck. So they might be something of, it's too hard, it's such a struggle, anything out of low self-esteem or criticism, fear or doubt, or it's not my fault at all. So then on the flip side, you've got some empowering perspectives. And again, these are just a couple to mention. There's so many out there that you can come up with, but these are a few just to get you on the right track to think about. So these empowering perspectives can leave you feel light and leave people feeling clear and active in what they're going to do. So it might be respect or responsibility, trust, commitment, adventure, contribution, generosity, action or creation. So I want you to have a think now of what is, in your point of view, two of the most powerful perspectives in which an individual could live their life. So pick two that you think would be the best way or best outlook for someone to live their life, in which perspectives. And are they yours? Is it how you're living your life? So this is one of the most valuable things you can do for yourself, is to be really clear or aware of your current perspective and change it if need be. Really challenge yourself to shift into a more empowering perspective in any situation. So I've given you a couple of ideas and a couple of questions you can ask yourself, and you can come up with plenty more, or to totally change that blame. So for example, turn it around 100% in any situation where you are 100% responsible. So as I said, it can dramatically change or influence any situation, as I just discovered myself. So feel free to leave comments on all of these. I'd love to hear your feedback and to see how you went with it all. But good luck, and I'll speak to you soon.